Alright y'all, it's your boy Daz and I'm back with another reaction video. Today, I'm reacting to Knicks versus Spurs. Is gonna be an insane NBA Finals. And I think so too. I ain't gonna lie, I like the matchup. I like it better than OKC versus the Knicks. Cause I think it just match up better and it make for a better story too. So with that being said, let's jump straight into it. Let's not even waste no time, you heard?
Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Cohen, and today I'm going to go ahead and predict and preview the NBA Finals. Spurs versus Knicks. Any way you want to look at it is going to be
That boy
insane
Wemby
series.
tall as
I've got
fuck.
no idea who's going to win. If you think this is going to be a quick series, I just don't agree with you. We're talking about the Knicks that have gone on one of the most historic runs we've ever seen through the Eastern Conference, and I'm not joking. The last time they lost a playoff game was April 23rd. They've won 11 straight games, and they've done so with the best point differential ever over an 11-game win streak in NBA history. We're not just talking playoffs. So you want to talk about the competition, sure, they've not played as tough of teams as the Spurs have, but it just hasn't mattered because they've annihilated everybody in their path. And whether it's Brunson, it's Cat, it's Hart.
Yo, what y'all feel about that too? Like, I hear everybody saying, "Oh, the Knicks had an easy path. The Knicks had an easy path." The Knicks, if you want to say the East is easy, okay, I give you that. But you gotta look at it from a different standpoint. They swept the last two teams. In the last two games, like closeout games, they won by 30. They are bugging right now. I'm not even a Knicks fan. I'm a Lakers fan. I'm a Kobe fan to the death of me. I'm not a Knicks fan. I don't even care for the Knicks. But what they doing is crazy. If you can't acknowledge what they doing right now, you got hate in your heart. You a hater. Like, you gotta be from Boston.
It's Mikhail and OG on the wings, the bench, Mike Brown doing a phenomenal job of coaching. This is the best Knicks team of my lifetime and might just be the best Knicks team ever. And speaking of best ever, Victor Wembanyama is quickly on a path to becoming the greatest to ever do it. There is a long way to go, but
That's another thing, though. That boy right there, I'm not gonna hold you.
NBA championship at 22.
This, he's an alien for real. Like, all jokes aside. What make him different is he's 7'5", right? He dribble like Jamal Crawford. He shoots like a regular 6'5" person. Like, it's unfair. Like, it's like he's a created character in real life though.
2 years old with basically no playoff experience for anybody on this roster while snatching the best in the world crown.
This is Navon Edge, the personal assistant for frequent business travelers. Navon Edge learns what you love down to the smallest details and finds your perfect flight, stay, or meal.
Right? It's crazy. They gave us the long John. Pause.
To go ahead and do so. In this Spurs team, the fact that they've made the finals with nobody having been on this type of path before is truly mind-blowing. A lot of it is Wemby, but it's also De'Aaron Fox, it's Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, that three-headed monster at the guard position, or the shooters in Champagnie and Keldon Johnson off the bench, and Mitch Johnson being a ridiculous coach, and Devin Vassell's a microwave. These are just two really deep, really talented teams on both sides of the ball that truly have earned their spot here in historic fashion, and I think it's going to result in a matchup that will truly be one of the all-time NBA Finals and one of the best of this decade. So I want to go ahead and break it down and give you who.
You know who real like underrated to me? Stephon Castle. I feel like Stephon Castle underrated because he bring defense and he ball like he a baller. Like, if you really watch basketball, you could tell he's a problem. Like, once he develop his game a little bit more and slow it down, it's over for. I ain't gonna lie. Spurs is a dangerous team. Very, 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 very dangerous team.
Well, I think
Knicks better win it. If the Knicks don't win it this year, it's over.
going to win and ultimately why. So let's go ahead and first talk about what the matchups have looked like between these two teams so far this season. They played 3 times, once on New Year's Eve, which the Spurs won 134-132, once on March 1st, where the Knicks won by 25 in Madison Square Garden, and once in the NBA Cup Final, which the Knicks won 124-113. So Knicks up 2-1 on the season series. The Knicks have the best offense, best defense, and the best net rating at a 19.8 so far throughout the playoffs, while the Spurs are the 3rd best offense, 2nd best defense, and 2nd best net rating. So yeah, these have been the best two teams. But let's go ahead and get into the keys to the matchup. And the biggest one is this Spurs defense against this Knicks offense. Because Victor Wembanyama is the most difficult defensive problem to solve in the NBA. His superpower in the Spurs as a whole, as a result of him, is causing you to overthink everything. Even the most decisive.
Yeah, you know what Victor Wembanyama felt like playing with? You ever went to the park with your older brother when you was younger, and when you was like wild young, and he was tall. He was so much taller than you. So every time you went to the hoop, he just block you. That's what playing against. I think playing against Victor Wembanyama feel like. It gotta feel like that, cause it's like the nigga is 7'5", and then on the offensive end, he could dribble. This nigga's a cheat code.
Players will be like, should I shoot this shot at the rim, or is Wemby going to block it? It feels like you've got a wide open floater, and then Wemby's looming there, and it's like, okay, now I need to shoot this to the moon, or it's just going to get swatted. Even if you feel like you have an open mid-range jumper on the other side of the court, Wemby can still recover and get there. This Spurs team forces such bad shots that make you get late into the shot clock, especially if you're a rim-heavy offense. As a Thunder fan, the biggest reason why the Thunder weren't able to win that series is because they had three-point shooting fluctuation as a mainly rim-attacking offense, and the Knicks are a better three-point shooting team. They've been the best three-point shooting team in the playoffs so far, but they do like to get down.
Nah, I'm gonna give you out a real reason, right? A lot of people want to say, oh, the reason they lost is because of this. The reason they lost is because... No, the real reason they lost is because Chet didn't play with no heart. Chet Holmgren did not play with no heart. Like, the whole time, I don't know if y'all was watching what I was watching, but the whole time, Chet Holmgren looked like he was scared of the battle. Like he was scared of Wemby or something. Like, that's why they lost.
Hill quite a bit. They've led the playoff field so far in rim field goal attempts and have scored incredibly efficiently when they've gotten there. Against the Cavaliers, they were not deterred at all. Against the Sixers, against the Hawks, nobody's been able to slow them down. Of course, they've not played a defense anything close to the Spurs one, nor have they played a player anywhere close to Victor Wembanyama. We've really never seen anybody quite like him. So that is a problem that they're going to have to find some way to consistently solve. And I think that the main way you do that is just by shooting really well from the outside. Like, that is the biggest key, I think, in this series for the Knicks. They've been red hot. 40% from three in the playoffs so far on 33 attempts per game. If you can amp up that volume and continue to shoot really well, you're going to have a bunch of success. Because that volume, like, isn't crazy. It's in the back half of teams in the playoffs. Like, they have not shot a ton of threes because, again, nobody's really given them that crazy of resistance at the rim. But they're going to have to be better in that regard. Jalen Brunson, I think him specifically as a pull-up three-point shooter is going to make a world of difference. In their regular season matchups, he shot 11 of 27 from the outside, which is good for about 41%. Inside the arc, 42% from the field for Jalen Brunson, 18 of 43. A lot of that is the Victor Wembanyama effect. It's the Stephon Castle effect, the Spurs defense in general. Again, they just make you overthink, and they can swarm you in such a ridiculous fashion, like they've done all throughout the season, throughout the playoffs, to some of the best scorers in the NBA, like Anthony Edwards, like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Brunson is going to see a lot of that pressure, and the best way to negate that is just knock down your pull-up threes. And he is really good at that, but against the Cavaliers, his shooting was not phenomenal. He does have some dips, and this Knicks squad, as good as they've been shooting the basketball, they are prone to some ups and downs. Like, we can see some inconsistency from McHale, from OG, for example. Josh Hart is really going to be tested in this series. In the last matchup between these two teams, it was Fox on Brunson, Castle on Cat, and Wemby on Josh Hart. And they might rather go just Castle on Brunson, try and slow him down off the bat and go with one of the wings on Cat. But I do think we're going to see a lot of Victor Wembanyama guarding Josh Hart and just playing way off of him and being like, hey, make threes and make us pay. They did that to the Thunder, with Alex Caruso, and Caruso knocked out a bunch of those shots, and it forced the Spurs to go ahead and readjust a little bit. If Josh Hart
don't make his shots, it's going to be a hard series for the Knicks. If Josh Hart does not make his shots, it's going to be a very, very hard and long series for this Knicks.
Be a competent three-point shooter, then that opens up this offense a bunch. Or even if he's not knocking down the three, if he's good as a cutter, if he's good as an extra playmaker, setting screens, like, there are ways for Josh Hart to still be effective. But I do think, all in all, one of the biggest keys to him even just staying on the court is hitting those threes. And if he can't, then they might have to play more Landry Shamet minutes. And Shamet has been on fire. I mean, he literally missed, I think, 1 3 all throughout the Eastern Conference Finals against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that is a great weapon to have. But Josh Hart does a lot more for you in terms of his size against this really physical group of guards and just players in general on the Spurs. You want to have as much size and physicality back, and as good as Landry Shamet has been, he doesn't have that in the way that Josh Hart does. So you want to have Josh Hart out there, but if he's not hitting his shots, then you're just going to have to find a different solution, because having a non-shooter out there that isn't at the big position against the Spurs is honestly just a death sentence. Meanwhile, I do think Mikal and OG can have pretty good series in this one. Mikal has kind of taken a little bit of a step away from the three-point line, although again, they're going to need him to knock down some of those shots, but he's been so good as a mid-range jump shooter. He's attacked the rim a little bit more, and I do think he and OG Anunoby, who has also been really good on this run, and it seems like his hamstring is more than...
Mikal is low-key one of them ones, too, that need to step up. If Mikal step up, game over.
Fine at this point. They've got the size and physicality to punish the Spurs at times, because yeah, they are a physical team specifically with those guards, but like, you can kind of attack De'Aaron Fox, you can somewhat attack Devin Vassell. Julian Champagnie specifically is a guy that I expect the Knicks to go at a lot. You're going to see Jalen Brunson try to continuously get that switch on Julian Champagnie, get a switch on Keldon Johnson, same thing with OG or Mikal. It might just end up being whoever is, facing Julian Champagnie is going to have to attack him to generate the easiest offense that they can, and on the other end, Julian Champagnie is going to have to be somewhat reliable, because I do expect Brunson to probably be guarding him, just, playing off of him as a shooter, and he really was up and down in that Thunder series. If he's able to be more reliable like he was in Game 7 against this Knicks team, then that can become a real-time problem for the Knicks. The Spurs are also going to have to try and cut off Karl-Anthony Towns as a playmaker. He's just been ripping teams to shreds so far in the playoffs as that passer, specifically on cuts. Obviously, Wemby neutralizes some of that, but I do still think the Knicks can have some success with those actions. Honestly, I think it starts with Cat being more aggressive as a scorer and then parlaying that into his playmaking. If he's not being guarded by Wemby, if it is like a wing on him, like a Vassell, like a Champagnie, even if it is Stephon Castle, that is a matchup that Cat should and is able to punish. He needs to go ahead and back those guys down, attack, force Wemby to rotate over, and then whether it's hitting Josh Hart in the corner for that three, or Josh Hart as Wemby dives, cuts the basket, gets one maybe just right behind him, or maybe he cuts, forces another defender to roll over, he sets a screen for somebody to rotate to the corner. Like, there are a lot of ways that they can attack still with Cat's playmaking. I just don't think it's going to be as static. I think Cat needs to utilize more of his scoring to force the Spurs to worry about him more, to go ahead and then open up those playmaking avenues. And honestly, just in general, like, Cat should seek out that Wemby matchup, not specifically to attack him, although I do think he needs to be aggressive. He can't be afraid of trying to score against Wemby, but if you get that switch, you can then, just dribble back up to the three-point line, pass it to someone, get it back, and then suddenly Wemby guarding you.
Cat gotta be the determining factor in this series. What I mean by that is, like, if they leaving him open, he gotta be hitting his shots. And if they putting smaller defenders like Vassell on him, I don't know Vassell name, first name, pardon me, but if they put Vassell on him, he gotta work in the paint. And whoever else, like if it's Josh Hart in the corner, he gotta be hitting his shots. So Wemby guarding him, because if now Wemby guarding him, right? Wemby gotta guard the three. If Wemby guarded in three, he can't guard Towns. He can't guard the basket. So there you go. Like it's a remedy. Like I'm gonna say who I think win at the end, who I think I'm picking, or I'm not going for, because I don't got a horse in the race, but who I feel like is favorable to win. And I'm just going to, explain both sides.
Someone that he absolutely has to be worried about from the three-point line. It just opens up the offense a lot. Like, this is the most five-out capable offense the Spurs have played so far, and that is something that I do think plays a lot to the Knicks' advantage. The Spurs, of course, are also going to have to be good on the boards. The Knicks have the capability to dominate the offensive glass with Cat, with Mitchell Robinson, who is dealing with the pinky thing. Doesn't sound like it's going to keep him out from any of the games that he's going to be somewhat 100%, so I'm not really factoring that in too much, although if he really is struggling, then that does hurt that advantage a little bit. But you can't give the Knicks extra chances. This offense is way too potent to allow that. The Knicks also just don't turn the ball over very much, just 13.6 a game in the playoffs, which is 6 out of everybody that's been in the playoff field. The Spurs were able to force the Thunder, who also don't turn the ball over much at all, into some heavier turnover games. If they can do that to the Knicks in a similar way, because they don't have a ton of elite ball handlers, that can cause some snowballing issues for this Knicks offense. Now let's switch over to the Knicks defense versus the Spurs offense. This Knicks defense has been awesome this run. They've showcased a new level beyond what I thought was possible by a squad that is playing Brunson and Cat such heavy minutes. And like, there it could be a world where they come back down to earth against now their biggest challenge yet. but also they've just been a ridiculously good defense for a majority of the season now, going back to January. I think at some point, we just got to realize they're elite on that end. And it's a credit to Brunson competing, but also really good connective defending from Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, allowing them to hide Brunson in spots and not really struggle at all. Josh Hart has been good. Shamet has defended well. Cat has been really solid on this run as that rim protector, as a mobile big, especially as a post defender. He really holds up. Of course, Mitchell Robinson and Deuce McBride, they've just done pretty much everything well. But the place that they've been the most successful has been shutting down the three-point line. So far throughout the playoffs, Knicks opponents are shooting 28% from the outside, which, being such a low number, there could be a world where it's just partially bad shooting luck and they face some big-time regression to the mean against the Spurs team in the finals. But there also is just a world where maybe 28% doesn't hold, but a really low percentage does, because they have just done a good job of forcing bad threes. You could make the argument either way. But regardless of that, the Spurs are going to have to shoot really well to keep pace with this Knicks offense. And that comes a lot to that guard trio. Castle, Harper, and Fox all have really high highs, nights where they physically can't miss and you're like, what do we possibly do? But also really low lows. Like Castle can go 1 for 8. Harper is...
That's one thing too. De'Aaron Fox got to be on his game. Like, the Spurs, I want this to be a good series, first and foremost. I want it to be a really good series. I want it to go to Game 7. I want it to go down to the last minute, the last shot. That's what I want to see. That's what I really want to see. So I'm going to say, the Spurs, if Vassell could hit his shots, Champagnie can hit his shots, and De'Aaron Fox can really facilitate the offense, it's gonna be a good series. I can't wait. It's tomorrow, right? Tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is Game 1 of the NBA Finals, and I can't wait. I could wait, but I can't wait.
Really good or really bad at catch and shoot shots. It just really depends on the night. And De'Aaron Fox can go 1 for 6, or he's like 3 for 5. It can go really either way. The Knicks are going to let those guys shoot, especially above the break, straightaway type of threes. They're going to have to hit some of those shots. The Spurs are going to be relying a lot on Champagnie, Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Carter Bryant in those corners, because when you run a Wemby pick and roll, you're just going to constantly generate just ridiculously good corner looks. That has been the Spurs' bread and butter all season. They've generated the most open corner threes out of any team, and it's because of those actions involving Wemby. Those guys are going to have to hit those shots. They also need the guards to take care of the ball, and it will be an easier task than it was against OKC, I would imagine, because the Knicks don't have that same type of ball pressure, but it's still not easy. And the Knicks, meanwhile, while they might not generate as many turnovers as the Thunder are capable of, they are able to capitalize on them more. They've been so good in transition throughout the playoffs so far. The Spurs are going to have to halt those transition opportunities, but the Knicks have really good size with Mikal and OG. Like, those are guys that can just body those Spurs, help get back type of defenders off the spot at the rim. That is a really interesting battle right there. The battle of the transition is going to decide a lot of these matchups. And of course, in the midst of all this, the Knicks are going to have to find a way to slow down Victor Wembanyama. And OG has actually been a pretty good Wemby defender throughout his career, specifically this season. Regular season guarded Wemby 35 possessions, and in those 35 possessions, Wemby put up just 21.6 points per 100 on a 55.6 true shooting percentage clip, which, guarding Victor Wembanyama, is pretty damn good. Will he be able to stop Wemby for a full series? I think that's a lot to ask. It's going to be all hands on deck, especially because OG, I think, is also the best De'Aaron Fox defender. Now, obviously, stopping Wemby, I think, is the #1 priority, so if they feel good about that, they'll just continue to go to it. But I think it's going to take everybody. I think Cat will absolutely get some run guarding Wemby. I think Mitchell Robinson, depending on the health of his finger, again, I'm not really anticipating that's a big-time issue, but if that is one, then maybe he won't play a lot of minutes, but he certainly will get some. Like, Mikal will be there at points. It's going to be an absolute team effort. It always is, to slow down Victor Wembanyama, who had just some monster games against an all-time defense in Oklahoma City in the conference finals. It wasn't all pretty. He had to really work for some buckets, but he more often than not got to his spots because there really has just not been a team that's found a way to consistently slow him down. Even though he's, still feels like raw in terms of his true potential on the offensive end, it's just a whole nother problem to figure out how do you possibly stop a guy who can dunk anytime he's like 10 feet within the basket. I wouldn't be surprised, though, to see some fatigue from Wemby in this series because of the physicality that he had to play through against the Thunder. This Knicks team, very, very similar situation. They are going to be really, really physical. He started to go a lot more to the three ball at the end of the conference finals, which he was hitting those shots. But again, Wemby is also
That's
prone to some high
unfair,
highs
bro.
and some low lows. If he's
That right
getting
there is
tired,
look at
he's
this.
shooting
This
that
is
three ball a little bit more, and it's
unfair.
not
How you
falling, and
block
even
that?
just some
How
of
you
those
guard
mid-range
that?
jumpers, that can lead to some really bad offense for the Spurs. I know it's been a lot of really grueling matchups for Wemby throughout these playoffs, but he has to continue to attack down low, fight through that
Imagine when
physicality.
Wemby get
He cannot just
Giannis,
settle for a
like-
bunch of jumpers. He's going to hit a lot of them, like it's Victor Wembanyama, but that's just not nearly the most efficient offense for the Spurs. Just a couple of last quick X factors before I get into my prediction. The rest advantage goes to the Knicks in a big way. Again, they swept their last two series. They are now playing their third straight team going off of Game 7, which is a crazy stat. So they are going to be in a really good spot in terms of their... Honestly, don't know if that matters at this point. They've proven it probably up. I'm sitting here and I trust him and this.
Don't worry, Shaq.
I don't want to do his prediction. I'm gonna tell y'all my prediction though. My prediction is that. Let me say this right now. I feel like it's gonna be a good series. It's gonna go to at least Game 6. It's gonna go to at least Game 6, and I feel like Wemby is gonna show out the first two games. Show out, like first two games, he's gonna show out. Knicks gonna steal the second game though. Knicks gonna steal the second game, and the Knicks gonna go and win both at home. And then the Spurs gonna win the next one at home. Then it's gonna go to Game 6. I don't know, but I'm leaning towards the Knicks because they have a better offense, a more fuller offense. Second, they have a better bench. Third, they got everything to match against the Spurs. They got every answer for the Spurs, every answer that you need for the Spurs, they have it. And OG could play great defense on Wemby. When OG play defense on Wemby, he plays great defense. So I'm going with the Knicks, but I would not be surprised if the Spurs win too. So with that being said, I'm going with Knicks in 6. I feel like a Boston nigga right now because I don't really fuck with the Knicks like that, but I'm going with the Knicks in 6. So with that being said, it's your boy Daz with another reaction. Who you think? First of all, who do you think is going to win? And let me know why. Like, let me know why do you think that they're going to win? Cause I know a lot of people think the Spurs is gonna win, and I know a lot of people think the Knicks gonna win. They got different reasons. Put your reason in the comment. Let me know why that you think that they're gonna win, or let me know how you feel about the whole situation. Like, let me know how you feel about like even the matchup and everything, all the matchups and whatnot. But it's your boy Daz, and I'm back with another reaction video on the Knicks versus the Spurs breakdown in the NBA Finals. I'm out of here. Peace.